Welcome to Createch, the stage where creativity meets technology at the CogX Virtual Festival for AI and Breakthrough Technologies. It's exciting to be part of the biggest, most inclusive and forward-thinking gathering of leaders, CEOs, entrepreneurs, policymakers, artists, academics, and activists of its kind. I'm Janet Hull, and I represent the UK Creative Industries Council, a community of leaders who together seek to safeguard, support, and promote the UK creative industries, both around the UK and on the global stage. I'm your MC for Createch, and I'm here to help you navigate the spectacular 3-day programme we've helped prepare for you. Some of you may already have spent time with us when we've heard from Tim Davie and Minister Dinenage about the partnership between industry and government to support the creative industries to help them survive and thrive. And although the pandemic has wreaked havoc for our sector, as it has for so many, the long-term trend is for growth at twice the rate of the economy as a whole, with growth in employment of more than 30%. Where are these new jobs coming from? Well, there are two big factors influencing job creation in the UK creative industries. The first is London as a gateway to the whole of the UK. How attractive London is as a place for overseas companies to invest in and grow their businesses. The second is the ingenuity of our creative community and how many next generation businesses are emerging where creativity meets technology. In our next session, you'll meet Louise Conolly-Smith, Head of Creative at an organisation called London and Partners, who is promoting London on the global stage, and two young creative business entrepreneurs. They represent two of the 100 Createch Ones to Watch we are launching today at the festival. And just before they come on stage, we want to share with you our launch video, which gives a flavour of the exciting world these businesses are inhabiting and the incredible work they're doing. Can we play the video, please?
That is such a great film. Thank you, Janet. It really captures the creativity of the companies that we are having today. As Janet said, I'm Louise Conolly-Smith. I'm Head of Creative at London Partners, and it's really fantastic to be launching the Creative Industries Council annual Ones to Watch list, which is on the Createch stage today at CogX. Ones to Watch 100 identifies UK-based creative pioneers across the UK who are working in creative industries, from visual effects to fashion technology, immersive technologies to digital theatre, video games to advertising. The companies have been chosen because they're innovating to develop new experiences, services, products, and social benefits. They're using advanced mixed reality, artificial intelligence, and smart data combined with human creativity. They've been nominated bodies including Digital Catapult, UKRI, Department of International Trade, and London and Partners. So London and Partners is London's international trade, investment and promotion agency. And amongst our activities, we have 2 different free business support programs that help amazing London companies to grow as well as to internationalize. And 2 of those companies will be joining me on stage. London has always shown remarkable resilience in the face of external challenges. Its creative energy, born out of the city's rich heritage, cultural thinking, and diversity, will help the city through the unprecedented challenges posed by COVID-19. London is home to clusters of fast-growing, game-changing tech companies. And I'm delighted we have the opportunity from Ben Mercer from Personify XP and from Amy Williams from Goodloop. So they're both going to be joining me through the excitement of technology. So any minute now, you will be able to see them as well. And I'll ask Ben to introduce himself and Personify XP, and then Amy will do the same for herself and Goodloop. Thank you.
Great. Hi, everyone. I'm Ben, co-founder and CCO at Personify XP. We've developed the first anonymous personalization platform that enables us to personalize to anyone, anywhere, across any digital experience without any personal data.
And hi, my name's Amy. I am the founder of a company called Goodloop. Goodloop is an ethical advertising platform. So we distribute advertising across the internet. And if people choose to give a little bit of time, a little bit of attention, then in exchange, they can give half of the advertiser's money to a charity of their choice.
It's just, I mean, both those are so interesting. And what I'd really like to know is what trends are you seeing in the world that you inhabit? So sort of startups, scale-ups, what do you think is happening?
So I think from our perspective, I think one of the big things is, the democratization of kind of AI and machine learning. For so long, it's been so hard to be able to, develop because we haven't had the sophistication of, computers and processing. But I think, with the free providers that Amazon and kind of Google Cloud are able to provide, actually what that kind of enables us to do is actually create and scale different and new AI and machine learning concepts, extremely quickly.
Yes. And Amy?
Yeah, from my side, I think, I started the business riding on the wave of 2 trends, which most startups do, right? I very much was inspired by this trend in purpose and positivity in advertising. So many brands today build meaningful connections with their consumers by talking about the societal, environmental, cultural issues that matter most in our lives. And I think, COVID-19 and the crisis that we're faced has really been a catalyst for that trend. And before starting my business, I worked at an advertising agency. Unilever was one of my main clients, and Unilever had this very smart structure and strategy for baking social good into their brands. So that was a real sort of fuel for me, was seeing that and learning how they do it, seeing how their sustainable and social brands grow 50% faster than the rest of their business. Unilever, as many other businesses have now discovered, can make more money by doing good in the world. So that was the first trend. And then I was sort of very intrigued by this complete opposite trend, which is a real decline in public trust in advertising, a real decline in the perceived benefit and value that it adds to society. The ISBA did a study last year, and they found advertising is ranked lower than bankers and lawyers for trust in the public, which, I mean, no offense if you're a banker or a lawyer, but surely you already know that you're not particularly trusted as a profession. So for advertising to be down there when, 20 years ago, it was one of the most sort of sought after and appealing professions, it really illustrates this sense that people are a bit fed up with it, as evidenced by how many people now use ad blockers. So bringing together those 2 very contradictory trends, where you've got brands that want to really talk about issues that matter, and you've got people fed up of brands and fed up of advertising, and bringing those 2 together to create an advertising solution that funded good causes was really the beginning of Goodloop.
Yeah, and I think kind of building on what Amy's saying, consumers are very much focused on their data these days. You see a lot in the news around data breaches, as well as, like Amy talks around, consumers using ad blocking, and actually, they realize their data is worth something in kind of the grand scheme of things. And that's kind of the core focus of Personify XP, is because we see this big trend of people wanting to be willing to identify to now actually they don't want to be identified. And what we see with kind of Google as well is they're kind of phasing out, the third-party cookie in 2 years' time. Is actually even the bigger brands are starting to go, okay, there needs to be a better way to be able to market these people without having to use all of their really personal data. And I think one of the things for us and kind of really the backbone of kind of where we've taken the platform is that, we recognize consumers won't want to give their data, but also if you look at the percentages, they're ever increasing in terms of those that go on a website who are anonymous versus those that can be identified. And therefore, those people still want to receive a great experience as potentially they would do in store, but actually being able to replicate that without ever having to intrude on them, it's a very careful balance.
I think it's really interesting that the data point that you're mentioning. I do know that one of the wider discussions for CogX is to look at where we see the future in the next 10 years. I think for startups and scale-ups, that can be more like a long way. So how about where do you see it in the next year? What do you think, particularly talking about what you're talking about data and sort of the consumer wanting to make that decision? What do you think the future looks like for creative technology companies? Should we start with?
I'll jump in. I think kind of in the next kind of few years, I think privacy is going to play, such a huge part, especially, in Amy's world and kind of my world, is that kind of convergence of, consumers, want to create value out of what they can do. And obviously their data is really critical to that. But, what we also see is kind of, the advent of greater connectivity around mobile. All of the kind of brands and retailers that we work with as a business, a huge proportion of their traffic is mobile. And actually with kind of the growth of kind of 5G and edge computing, actually what that's enabling us is kind of Createch businesses is be able to create more engaging experiences because, consumers on their phones are able to download, better experiences faster and quicker. And then also, I guess, back to the AI point, I don't really want to labor it, is that, the advent of being able to create rich AI experiences because everything's available, everything's open source. Actually, this gives us as Createch companies the ability to go and create new concepts dynamically and quickly because we have the connectivity available to us to actually go and create them.
That's great. I've got a feeling that we're going to be coming off stage. So unless, Amy, you've got a few comments, I think I'm going to have to thank you both very much for taking the time. Amy, did you want to add anything? I just want to double check before I cut you off.
I mean, sure, but I don't know how much time we've got.
See if you can say it in 30 seconds. Do the elevator pitch.
So I'll just say this then. I think that the next couple of years of startups and scale-ups will be all about bringing more diverse voices to the table. I know from experience, I've worked with a huge amount of investors who are becoming more and more proactive in investing in a diverse range of startups. Arlen Hamilton has been a real figurehead of this with her Backstage Capital fund, talking about how underrepresented founders are also the underestimated ones. So more diversity and inclusion, I'd say, should be top of the agenda.
I think that's a brilliant point to end on. Having seen what's been happening globally for the last 10 days, I think everyone is looking at this with more concerted effort. Thank you both so much, Janet. I believe you're going to be coming back magically.
Thanks, Louise. Thanks, Amy and Ben. And what a fantastic representation of our Createch ones to watch in Amy and Ben. This brings to an end this first session, and we'll be starting again on the Createch stage at 12 noon with a really interesting session looking at the future of research and innovation and the growing number of partnership opportunities that exist for businesses, universities to collaborate on Createch projects and programs. See you back here then. Now might be the time for you to explore the Createch Virtual Expo. There's a session going on from 11 with 3 more Createch ones to watch, hosted by Carlos Grande, editor of the website thecreativeindustries.co.uk. And the full list of the Createch ones to watch, the 100, will be accessible there as a PDF download. Over 85 of the Createch ones to watch are also hosting their own virtual booths here today, so you can meet them in person, find out more about them, and talk about the work they're doing and how you can get involved. Look for the red Ones to Watch logo in the exhibitor listing. Do take a look. Enjoy and see you later at 12 noon.
Want access to more CogX videos? Subscribe now for free at cogx.co.